Imagine for a second that you're a Nike executive in 2010. You're sitting in the boardroom at world headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. Your company owns athletic wear, $20 billion in annual revenue. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, the swoosh is on every playing field, every gym, every track in the world. Then someone mentions a Canadian yoga company with a weird name is trying to sell $98 pants to suburban moms. You don't even take notes. Yoga isn't a sport, it's stretching with candles. Fast forward to 2024. That yoga company, Lululemon, is worth $50 billion. Your stock is stagnant. Your women's division is in free fall. Welcome to the most expensive lesson in market blindness in retail history. Today, we're going to dissect how a $50 billion empire was built by doing everything Nike refused to do. Buckle up. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to 2008. Nike is the king, not just the leader, the absolute, undisputed monarch of athletic wear. Walk into any Nike Town flagship and it's a temple to performance. Walls covered in Air Jordans, LeBron's signature line, Kobe's Mamba series. The company is pulling in $18 billion a year in revenue. They own 31% of the global athletic footwear market. Their closest competitor, Adidas, is a distant second. Nike's business model is simple, and it works. Find elite athletes, sign them to massive contracts, build products around their performance needs, market the hell out of competition, excellence, and winning. It's masculinity coded, sports focused, and it prints money. For men. Women's athletic wear? That's an afterthought. The industry has a term for Nike's approach to women's products in 2008. Shrink it and pink it. Take the men's design, make it smaller, make it pink or purple, call it a day. Nike Women exists, sure, but it's treated like the kids' table at Thanksgiving. Nobody important is paying attention. But while Nike is obsessing over the next Air Max drop, something is happening in America that they completely miss. Yoga studios are multiplying like rabbits. Between 2004 and 2008, the number of yoga studios in the US increases by over 200%. Women aren't going once a month. They're going 4-5 times a week. It's becoming a lifestyle, not a hobby. And what are they wearing? Cotton. Baggy cotton t-shirts and cheap black pants from Target. It's uncomfortable. It's not technical. But there's no alternative because Nike doesn't think yoga is a real sport. Enter Chip Wilson, a former surf and skate entrepreneur from Vancouver. He takes a yoga class in 1998 and has an epiphany. These women are athletes. They're working hard. They're sweating. They deserve the same technical fabrics that runners and basketball players get. So he creates Luon, a proprietary blend designed specifically for yoga and everyday wear. Not for the gym, for life. The pitch is revolutionary. What if athletic wear wasn't just for athletes? What if it was for anyone who wants to feel athletic all day long? Nike's response when they eventually notice? That's not our customer. That's not athletic wear. We own performance. Yoga is just stretching. This is the original sin. Nike didn't just miss a product opportunity, they fundamentally misunderstood what market they were actually in. They thought they sold performance gear for competitive sports. They actually sold how people wanted to feel about movement and their bodies. And they were about to pay $50 billion in tuition to learn that lesson. Nike made a bet. Performance sports would always beat lifestyle wellness. They were about to lose that bet in the most expensive way possible. While Nike was signing LeBron James to a $90 million endorsement deal, Lululemon was doing something completely different, building tiny stores in wealthy neighborhoods. Not shopping malls, not outlet centers, boutique locations in places like Tribeca, Santa Monica, and Buckhead. Each store was maybe 1,500 square feet. You could fit 6 of them inside a single Foot Locker. And instead of athletes, they recruited yoga ambassadors, local yoga instructors who would wear Lululemon gear, teach classes, and become walking advertisements in their communities. They weren't paid millions. They got free product and a platform. It was grassroots, micro-influencer marketing before Instagram even existed. The stores became community hubs, free yoga classes on Sunday mornings, workshops with nutritionists, goal-setting sessions. Lululemon wasn't selling pants. They were selling membership in a tribe, a lifestyle, an identity, and they charged accordingly. $98 for yoga pants. When Nike was selling their best athletic shorts for $40, Lululemon was asking for more than double. For pants you wear to stretch. The fabric story was brilliant. Proprietary blends with names like Luon and Nulu. They positioned everyday comfort wear as technical performance gear. It was performance fabric for the performance of living your best life. Nike finally noticed around 2012. They saw the growth. They launched Nike Women, a dedicated line of training gear. They put Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova in ads. They tried. But here's the problem. They couldn't copy the model. Nike's entire DNA was built around massive flagship stores, celebrity athletes, and wholesale partnerships with big box retailers. Their supply chain was designed for volume, not boutique experiences. Their brand was built on competition and winning, not community and wellness. It's like trying to turn an aircraft carrier into a speedboat. The physics don't work. Industry analysts tried to warn them. A 2013 report from Morgan Stanley explicitly stated that athleisure was a different game with different rules. Lifestyle brands require different retail strategies than performance brands. Community beats celebrity in the wellness space. Nike needed to either commit fully to a new model or accept that this wasn't their fight. Nike's response, according to people who were in those strategy meetings, was basically this: we're not changing our entire business model for yoga pants. Fast forward to 2015. Lululemon crosses $2 billion in annual revenue. They're opening a new store every week. Nike Women is struggling. Their products are lost in the back corner of Dick's Sporting Goods, competing for shelf space with a dozen other brands. When the market data finally became undeniable, Nike's response wasn't strategy, it was panic. And panic makes you do expensive, stupid things. By 2020, the damage was undeniable. Nike launched Nike Yoga, failed. Nike Training Club Premium, failed. Nike Well Collective, a dedicated wellness sub-brand with its own stores, failed so badly they shut it down within 18 months. Meanwhile, Lululemon was eating their lunch. They expanded into menswear, and it worked. They launched a running line called Fast and Free that started stealing market share from Nike's core business. They added outerwear, bags, accessories. Everything they touched turned to gold. The retail data tells the story. By 2019, department stores like Nordstrom were cutting their Nike women's sections by 30% and expanding Lululemon by 40%. Why? Sales per square foot. Lululemon was generating over $2,000 per square foot in premium department stores. Nike Women's was pulling maybe $600. At Dick's Sporting Goods, the shift was even more dramatic. Lululemon displays moved to the front of the store. Nike got pushed to the back. When you walk in, the first thing you see is the Lululemon wall. The swoosh is competing for space with Adidas and Under Armour in the clearance section. The cultural shift was even more brutal. Nike became associated with CrossFit guys and high school athletes. Lululemon became the aspirational choice for women who wanted to signal success, wellness, and taste. On Instagram, posts tagged with Lululemon hit over 15 million. Nike Women barely cracked 2 million. This isn't just about losing sales. This is about losing relevance. Nike tried to be everything to everyone in women's athletic wear. Yoga, running, training, lifestyle, casual. The result? They stood for nothing. The brand got diluted, confused. Lululemon stayed focused. They owned the premium athleisure space. They were the brand women wanted to be seen wearing to brunch, to the office, to pick up their kids. It's a mass exodus, not just of customers, of cultural capital, of brand equity. But the real genius of Lululemon wasn't just what they sold, it was how they sold it. And this is where Nike's business model became a trap. Let's get technical for a minute, because this is where the incompetence truly shines. Nike has a supply chain problem. More accurately, Nike has a business model that worked perfectly for 50 years and then became a prison. Here's how Nike operates. They design products in Beaverton, Oregon. They manufacture in factories across Asia, mostly Vietnam and China. Then they sell through wholesale partners. Foot Locker, Dick's Sporting Goods, department stores, independent retailers. This model gives Nike distribution everywhere, but it comes with a cost: the margin structure. Nike sells a shoe to Foot Locker for around 45% of the retail price. Foot Locker marks it up and keeps the rest. Nike gets volume, but they're splitting the profit. More importantly, they have almost no direct relationship with the end customer. They don't know who bought what, when, or why. Lululemon's model is completely different. They own most of their stores. Roughly 65% of their sales are direct to consumer. They keep those fat margins. More critically, they know exactly what's selling in real time. A style isn't moving in Dallas, but flying off shelves in Seattle. They can shift inventory in 48 hours. Nike's nightmare is lead times. They're designing products 6 to 9 months before they hit shelves. They're guessing what will be popular next spring while it's still summer. Their wholesale partners are placing orders based on last year's data. It's a slow, clunky system. And when they guess wrong, inventory disasters. In 2022, Nike was sitting on over $5 billion in unsold inventory. That's not a typo. $5 billion. They had to discount aggressively, sell to off-price retailers, destroy product. They're paying to make it, paying to ship it, paying to store it, then selling it at a loss. Meanwhile, Lululemon is doing limited drops. Scarcity creates demand. Sell out fast, restock with new colors, keep the hype cycle moving. They pioneered RFID tagging for real-time inventory tracking. Every item in every store is accounted for digitally. They can ship from any store to any customer. It's surgical precision. Nike's supply chain is a Rube Goldberg machine of inefficiency. Nike finally tried to fight back. But when you're a 50-year-old giant trying to move like a startup, things get embarrassing. By 2023, Nike made a decision. They were going to copy Lululemon's playbook. Direct to consumer. Own the customer relationship. Cut out the middleman. They announced a massive shift. They would pull back from wholesale partners and push everything through Nike.com, the Nike app, and their own retail stores. On paper, it made sense. Control your brand, control your margins, control your data. In execution, it was a disaster. The first problem was the backlash from retail partners. Foot Locker had been selling Nike for decades. They weren't happy about getting cut out. Dick's Sporting Goods reduced Nike's shelf space by 30% in retaliation. JCPenney and Kohl's straight up dropped Nike Women entirely. Suddenly, Nike products were harder to find for the average customer who didn't want to order online or drive to a Nike store. The second problem was Nike's digital infrastructure wasn't ready. Their app was glitchy, selection was limited compared to what you could find at a Foot Locker. The user experience was clunky. People tried it, got frustrated, and went to buy Lululemon instead. Nike burned bridges with wholesale partners to copy Lululemon's model, but they had the wrong foundation. Lululemon built their DTC system from day one. Nike was trying to retrofit a 50-year-old wholesale business into a direct model. It's like trying to convert a cruise ship into a speedboat while it's still at sea. The store strategy got even worse. Nike started closing profitable mall locations and opening massive experiential flagships. The idea was to create brand experiences, not just transactions. There's a Nike House of Innovation in New York that's 5 floors with a basketball court and customization stations. It's impressive. It's also empty most of the time. Inside the company, there was chaos. Veteran merchandisers who built their careers on wholesale relationships were suddenly being told their expertise was obsolete. Many left. The culture clash between the old Nike and the new digital-first Nike created massive turnover. And the rebranding attempts? Remember Nike Well Collective? No? Exactly. It failed so badly they shut it down and scrubbed it from history. Customers were confused. Where do I even buy Nike Women anymore? Not at my local sporting goods store, not at the department store, I guess online? But the app is annoying. Forget it, I'll just get Lululemon. Sales in key women's categories dropped 15% during the transition. It was a masterclass in how not to execute transformation. And here's where it gets darkly ironic. Nike started reporting digital success while their actual business was bleeding. Nike will tell you their direct-to-consumer business is thriving. Digital sales up 30% year over year. DTC now represents over 40% of total revenue. They'll show you graphs. They'll point to their app downloads. They'll talk about customer engagement metrics. Technically, they're right. But here's what the numbers don't show. Total revenue is flat. In some quarters, it's actually down. Market share in women's athletic wear is shrinking. They're capturing a bigger slice of a smaller pie. It's success by contraction. Why the paradox? When you sell direct, you keep more margin per unit. So DTC revenue can grow even if you're selling fewer total products. You're making more per sale, but you're making fewer sales. In retail, you can't shrink your way to victory. Meanwhile, Lululemon is growing everything. DTC revenue up, total revenue up, new stores opening, market share expanding. They're not optimizing one metric at the expense of the whole business. They're winning on all fronts. And here's the metric that actually matters. Brand preference among women aged 18 to 45. The demographic with the most spending power in athletic wear. Lululemon dominates. In a 2024 survey by Morgan Stanley, Lululemon was the #1 preferred brand for athleisure among this group. Nike didn't even crack the top 3. It's the equivalent of losing weight by cutting off your leg. Yes, the scale shows you're lighter, but you're also bleeding out on the bathroom floor. Nike is optimizing for Wall Street earnings calls while losing Main Street customers. Lululemon grew their business. Nike rearranged deck chairs and called it transformation. Let that sink in. So here we are. It's 2025, and the athletic wear landscape has been completely redrawn. It's late 2025. Lululemon's market cap is hovering around $55 billion. They operate over 700 stores globally. They are expanding aggressively in China and Europe. Revenue is up 20% year over year. Nike is still the bigger company overall. Their market cap is around $160 billion. But in women's athletic wear specifically, they're stagnant. And here's the darker truth. They're losing an entire generation. Gen Z doesn't aspire to Nike. They associate the swoosh with their dads, with gym class, with trying too hard. Lululemon is the signal of arrival, of wellness, of having your life together. It's the brand you wear when you want people to know you can afford the $98 pants. And Nike isn't alone in the corporate graveyard. Under Armour tried to compete in athleisure. Failed. Adidas Women launched initiatives. Failed. The bodies are piling up. Meanwhile, companies are learning the right lesson. Alo Yoga, Viore, Athleta, they're all copying the Lululemon playbook. Community over celebrity. Boutique over big box. Lifestyle over performance. Even in developing markets, the pattern is repeating. In Asia, where Nike thought they'd dominate, young women are choosing Lululemon's model. They want the premium experience, the tribe, the identity. Nike is trying to fix it. They've brought in new leadership. They're rethinking retail strategy. But when you're a 50-year-old giant, turning the ship takes time. Maybe more time than they have. They became the perfect example of what not to do. Is there a way back for Nike? Maybe. But the lessons here go way beyond yoga pants. Is there a way back for Nike? Maybe. The brand still has power. They have resources. There are signs they're learning. New leadership is making different decisions. But whether they recover or not, the lessons from this $50 billion education are universal. The first lesson is about market definition. Market category definitions are dangerous illusions. Nike thought they were in the athletic performance business. They thought they sold gear for competition, for sports, for winning. But that's not what they were actually selling. They were selling how people wanted to feel about movement and their bodies. Lululemon understood this immediately. They knew women didn't want to feel athletic for 2 hours at the gym. They wanted to feel athletic all day long. They wanted the identity, not just the function. The second lesson is about distribution. Distribution is destiny. Your business model can become a prison. Nike built an empire on wholesale partnerships and celebrity endorsements. It worked for 50 years. Then the market shifted and their entire infrastructure became a liability. They couldn't pivot fast enough because their DNA was wrong for the new game. The third lesson is about premium positioning. Premium pricing requires premium experience. You cannot sell $98 yoga pants through Dick's Sporting Goods clearance section. The economics don't work. The psychology doesn't work. Lululemon understood that price is a signal, and the entire customer journey has to match that signal. The fourth lesson is about influence. Community beats celebrity for lifestyle brands. Nike spent billions on Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova. Lululemon spent almost nothing and built an army of local yoga instructors who became walking advertisements in their own communities. Micro-influencers with real trust beat mega celebrities with manufactured endorsements. The $50 billion tuition that Lululemon extracted from Nike taught the entire industry that brand positioning matters more than product features. Everyone can make technical fabric now. Everyone can make stretchy pants. The question is, what does wearing those pants say about who you are? Here's the warning for every other legacy brand. If you define your market by what you make instead of what customers actually need, someone will redefine it for you, and they'll eat your lunch while doing it. The darkest irony? Nike invented this playbook. The Jordan brand was lifestyle athletic wear before anyone called it that. Sneakers you wear to look cool, not to play basketball. Nike proved the model works, then forgot their own lesson when it came to women. If you let your business model drive strategy instead of letting customer needs drive your business model, don't be surprised when a startup wearing yoga pants steals your empire. $50 billion to learn that lesson. Hopefully, the rest of us can learn it for free. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown valuable, check out our upcoming video where I dissect how Shein is destroying Zara using the exact same playbook. Different industry, same strategy, same devastating results. It's the perfect sequel to this retail revolution. I'll see you in the next one.